This season on Kerr Fatou.
Who is engaging them too?
No.
Fatou.
I am not at liberty to say yes or no.
Oli.
For us, every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon, to make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy, that daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.
Stewart & Co. Solicitors, a legal excellence firm in London that can help you with all aspects of your legal work. If you are looking at immigrating to the United Kingdom, Stewart & Co. can help you to set up business, buy houses in the UK, and will deal with all your legal works from start to finish.
For all your general immigration work, we can help you with that as well. If you're applying for any form of visa, whether student visas, settlement visas, marriage visas, or a child wanting to come to the United Kingdom to settle with the family, we can help you to achieve your goals.
Stewart & Co. Solicitors, a legal excellence firm specializing in conveyancing, immigration, litigation, family law, personal injury, licensing, no win, no fee. Contact us today at www.sk-solicitors.com.
When we touch down, better broke down.
With Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
Can't do small or big projects with the same dedication and commitment as we do. With a reputation as the leading printing company in the country, when it comes to major projects and innovative solutions, we always deliver in high quality, thus receiving the trust and confidence of our clients. From the moment your order is placed to when it is delivered, we believe in exceeding expectations from the sales manager to the production team, the account manager, and the person delivering your material. We have state-of-the-art equipment and a highly experienced and competent workforce that enables us to deliver top quality work on time. At reasonable prices, we provide our clients with multiple solutions right from conceptualizing, designing, printing, binding, publishing, and distribution. For all your printing requirements, we are strategically located at the Sankumsila Highway, the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation. We print what you desire.
Every young Gambian dreams of a university degree. He wants a good paying job after graduation, a pretty wife, and ultimately own a dream home.
What if I can't afford my desired dream home?
And that is why you need to visit Universal Properties.
We specialize in customer satisfaction. We listen to every of our clients' needs when we show the properties to our clients. Before you know it, you hear the client saying,
I like this house.
This is the room that cuts my heart.
And most of the time, they cling to the door, never to let go. Most clients want to close the deal right there. And that is why we always have their contracts in the trunk of our cars. We work at our client's pace. No haggle, no hassle.
We're waiting for you at our office in Caraba Avenue here in the Gambia.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Kerr Fatou mbokk yi ñu dalal leen fii ci beneen Kerr Fatou tey nag bu dee yéen ak ñu seetaan ci GRTS ñu dalal leen di leen wax ne rek am nañ gan bu mag fii ci Kerr Fatou ba su dee yaa ngi ñoo toppa ci Facebook bi wala ci YouTube bi am nañ mbégte lool pour dalal fii Marie Sock Marie mu nekk jigéen boo xam ne macha allah bi mu génnee ne dafa bëgg a nekk candidate pour ut réew mi ñu bari rafetlu ko because for the first simple reason ne jigéen génn si gis nañ ko 2016 waaye nag bu loolu passé lépp pour jigéen génn si def ko am na solo lu tax mu am solo mooy dafa woon suñu xale yi jigéen ñi si kër gi ne yéen yëpp mun ngeen a génn ut réew mi am ngeen droit boo leen amee xam-xam bi boo leen amee plan bi du góor mun a def jigéen mun na koo def kon tey moo tax tey ñi ma am na solo ñu am Marie Sock fii waxtaan ak moom dëgg jigéen la nag jigéen war nañ koo dooleel waaye jigéen tam nag lan la am ci table bi am na solo ñun ñëpp loolu la ñuy wóor kon Marie ñu dalal la fii ci Kerr Fatou.
jërëjëf Kerr Fatou la ngeen ma dalal jërëjëf Gambia jërëjëf suma xariti jigéen yi nekk di seetaan television network bi thank you.
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yai Barom.
Nima,
I agree with you a lot. The timing is very right. Démb rek lañ doon waxtaan ne am nañ ay jigéen yoo xam ne bokk nañ si political parties di si yëngu waaye ñu bari xamee wuñ leen si liñ nekk di yëngu parce que góor yi lañ giital góor yi ñoo nekk di public figures yi ñooñu lañ dee gis lu ñoo def day ñu ñoo am ku mel ni yow ñëw taxaw am the courage to come and be part of this male dominated ak criticism yuy jógee si askan bi they commenting on everything yoo xam ne they are not saying the same things about your male counterparts. For example bëgg nañoo waxtaan lu mel ni jafe-jafe yu jigéen yi day am si mbiri politics waaye nag sa motivation si lan moo tax nga am courage pour génn si ñëw pour ut réew mi si Gambia nii ne yow réew rek yaa ko mun a def ñu bari nekk nañ fi di man nag suma olof setul bu baax nag waaye damay géem in the meantime damay nekk di dugal ci angale tamit may ñaax si suma ñuy seetaan programme bi ne angal bi tam na si bokk tuuti inshallah
waaw am na solo trop ñu wax ci askan ni yëpp pour ñu mun a dégg waaye Marie buñ laajtee kan mooy Marie Sock bi nga génnee nag to be honest with you ñu bari nag tiit nañ jaaxle kii mooy kan fan la jógee lu xew kan mooy Marie Sock.
Well, Marie Sock Banjul la juddoo yaroo fi màggee fi boo waxee Marie Sock laal na si famille yu bari Banjul laal nañ si Foster and Carol laal nañ si njaayeen yi Juufeen Touré ñoom Teacher Mike Touré laal si Fayen yi laal si Ogu yi su famille bi dafa yaatu man moo tax maay dee wax ne du ma bokk ak ñëpp dëkk bi yëpp laa bokkal suñu famille yi am nañ Joola am nañ Soose am nañ all kinds of families because xoole history Banjul bu njëkk ba aku yi dañ daan sëyante you know so interrelations yi door so boo ne Marisok foofu la faaxee ko suñ mbokk yi dafa yaatu maggee fi dem St. Joseph's Primary School then def 1 year St. Teresa's from foofu dem St. Joseph's High School jeexalee foofu dem 2 year art course bi ñoo wax fii nii which was like an art class bu ma def because my passion arts la woon in those days from foofu nag liggéey fii suma first liggéey was with Auntie Janketal Atlantic Hotel mu nekk nag suma mentor bu baax xëy na sax moo tax ma nekk entrepreneur because jàng naa lu bëri si moom and women like that need to be celebrated from foofu nekk nag si industry bi you know as an entrepreneur liggéey yàlla dimbale ma am wërsëki am business si biir dëkk bi moo tax nga gis may di encourage ndaw yu bëri ñu try dooleel ñu am doole fii si seen biir dëkk moo tax may di wax ñëpp ne man du Europe ma miig Gambie moo ma miig because ñu bëri ñoo xam nañ ma ràññee nañ ma in those days parce que fii laa nekk liggéey fii start fi business ba after di tukki di dem di ñëw it's not too long bi ma demee nag completely because of suma jëkkër woon waaye Marie is a 100% born Gambian, born and raised and educated and then worked in the Gambia.
Okay. So 2016 has been a turning point for a lot of us in the Gambia. It gave hope to a lot of people, especially the female folk, the younger generation. I remember the parliamentary elections, a whole lot of young Gambians came together and said, it's not too young for anybody to run. And female candidates were even more encouraged to come forward to seek positions within the government. Could that have been an eye-opener for you as well to decide this is the time to go back to my country?
No, I came to Gambia and actually my first time was in 2010 or 11. I came here on a project and it was shocking because I didn't know anywhere anymore. You know, I left in the 90s. And then I came back in 2013 to bury my dad. May his soul rest in peace. And then I came to realize that a lot of things were lacking, you know, and I saw women were desperate in the sense that they were not as, you know, when you talk about development, you talk about development also in the society. And I came to realize that the Gambia I left in the 90s was not the Gambia I came to. And in a way it was disappointing because people were not together anymore. I am a smile, laugh, hug person. And I came to realize that that was all different. And I went back in 2013, came back end of 2013 and stayed 2014 and then kind of decided to stay here and study the environment. So I do go back and forth, but I stayed here most of the time. And what I came to realize was a very sad realization to realize that Gambia has really changed. The people have changed. And when they asked for change in 2016, I thought that change was going to happen. You understand? But you see, change comes within yourself. You cannot ask for change when deep inside us we have not changed. You know, we can call for change 24/7, but it's an individual thing.
With the person.
Once we do it individually, then we can spread it amongst ourselves, and then we can create something together. But if that doesn't happen, we can advocate for change 24/7, and it will never happen because my agenda is not your agenda. So we have to come together first. They tried, you see what happened with the coalition, they tried, but were the hearts the same? So that did not motivate me to go into politics. What motivated me to go into politics was I was doing a lot of charity stuff. I started working with the grassroots, started working with kids, young girls, started working with institutions, you know, just trying to give back, helping out. Then that was an eye-opener in itself. I came to see, of course, you see a lot of big houses, nice houses, but then next to the nice houses, there are no roads. Then the schools next to the nice houses don't have roofs. Then you talk about hospitals. Then the more I ventured into the charity work, the more I was learning and the more I was seeing. To the point where it's the people that I was working with, they felt, Auntie Marie, you need to do this on a bigger scale. Why don't you help us? It took a lot of thought. It took a lot for me to think. I didn't even decide that because I helped other political parties in those days believing in changing the Gambia. So I felt, let me be part of the solution. Let me help out. But like I said, sometimes we want to join somebody, but then our agendas or where we want to go is not the same. I like to give back, and I feel that my calling is not where I was, so I left. And when they ushered me to do this, I felt, why not? If I can do it for other political parties, why can't I help them and stand on my own? And they backing me, telling me to do that, why not?
So I want to follow that up with considering that this is a multi-party democracy, and the reason why political parties are important is because they serve as the basis for mobilization.
Yes.
But also that they are institutions that can outlive an individual, so that when Marisol is not here, somebody else can take over and further their ideas. Why did you make the choice to go at it as an individual rather than as a member of a political party that's being institutionalized?
Just like you said, just because they said it's a country where the multi-party is encouraged and advocated for, rightfully so. But I mean, 15, it's a lot for a country with 2 million inhabitants. 15 parties. I mean, that's way too much. I mean, if you do the math, how many percent are we all expecting to get?
But you are adding to the candidates.
Well, that is the reason. But then look at all the political parties. I mean, if you say multi-party so that they can advocate and mobilize and all that, you look at all of them, they all seem to have certain issues. It's either tribal or religious or true color.
Is that the case?
Most of them are. Maybe they are not, or they don't advocate for. Well, if you talk, okay, some are by tribe. Most of them are categorized by tribe.
Is it people's perception about them as being tribalist, or is this something that they manifest?
The party manifests.
Well, maybe that's what they manifested to the point where people say that. You see, sometimes it has to be like homegrown. If you grow something to the point and you say this is a tomato, it's a tomato, after some time people will see it as a tomato. That's just what it is, And like I said, the reason why I decided to go independent is because I felt there are just too many parties. And if we're calling for unity, we need to break the cycle of, hey, I'm this party, I'm this color. When I'm in government, only this color will be in government. Or I'm this party and, we're tribal and only this tribe have to be here, or other people that are not from that tribe feeling that they have to be this tribe to join. Because there are lots of other people who are not in any political parties for these reasons. And these people too count. So when you have an office where you have, okay, I'm not in any party, so you mean I'm not going to be employed? Or I'm not going to be part of a system just because I don't join a party? It shouldn't be like that. We have to see Gambia first. We have to say one Gambia. Reason why I stand as an independent. And even though I stand as an independent, I have a team. I created a team. Because you cannot do anything alone. We created a team and we're creating structures so that we are, like I said, it's more about a movement. And in a movement, you have a team and the team has structures. And we create that, the reason why we're inviting everyone to come in, to join. So it's not just me. If I die today, I don't pray God today, I die today, it will still go on. Because it's a movement of change.
What will go on? The movement?
Yeah.
Okay.
The movement
So one thing that you also did say sometime when you just came out was you wanted all the political parties to come join you. Because some of the things that you just mentioned here was the reason why you wanted everyone to come join you, because you Why would it be you? Why did you think you were the uniting factor? You were the only one who can bring everybody party. And why would a political party, after all these years, leave everything to just come together? Is that even realistic?
If they look at if you have to have a broad mind to think like that. You have to look beyond your norm, like thinking outside the box. Like I said, I'm related to everyone. Let's just say I'm related to everyone. I need to break that cycle of this party is this party is that. I stand as an independent party and I call for everybody to endorse, only to say, hey, I'm this person that's not affiliated by any of this, or nor by party color, nor by tribal lines or whatever, because I'm related. I have tribes from all relating to me. Now, them endorsing me doesn't mean they need to leave their parties. Them endorsing me is saying, you know what, she can probably be the deal breaker. She can probably be the one to make us come together. You cannot build a country if you're not united, period. You cannot. We can sit here 24/7 and fool ourselves, but if we don't call for unity first, we cannot build this country. And since I don't want to be affiliated with every party per se by going to join them, the moment I join one party, that's it. It beats the purpose of me calling people to come together, because they're all separated by one way or the other, tribe or religion or whatever, or party color.
So in 2016, the reason why parties came together, because there was a dictatorship and people wanted to take that dictatorship. And it was agreed that unless and until we come together, we don't have to have a coalition. And a lot of people will tell you it didn't work, having all the parties. That's why what we're going through. I mean, I'm sorry to say, no offense to the government, but we were supposed to have a coalition government. Right now, we don't have a coalition government. Half of the parties are not represented in the government right now. So why do we need another coalition for 2021? Why do we have to come behind you to form a coalition? What do we have a bad government in place? Why do we need to create coalition?
I never said collision. No, I'm asking. It's not a collision.
What is it going to be?
Endorsement is not a collision. Endorsement, okay. Let's just say this bottle is standing alone. This bottle is free from everything. It's clean, it's white, it's straight, right? Now you all say, you know what? We believe that she can make that difference. She can break that ice so that we can all work together. Let's vote for her. Let's put her in the seat and we all work together. Because when this bottle stays in the seat, when I'm in that seat, I'll make sure I work with everybody. I don't care if you wear green. I don't care if you wear blue. I don't care if you wear yellow. I don't care what you wear. Work.
What would you call that government?
It's coming together as one. We see Gambia first.
So it's not coalition?
No, it's called the Alliance of Social Democrats. Then we are all aligned together.
Let's put it.
But then you still have your own. Listen, you go home. You can go to your political parties. You can do whatever you want. But let us put somebody that will break that cycle of I'm from this party, or I'm from this party, or I'm from this religion, or I'm from this and that. Let us come together as one. So you need to have somebody that can break that cycle. And that somebody doesn't just stand alone. She has other people around her that are from multi parties. What is funny is, even though the leaders of these so-called other parties are not seeing that, there are lots of people that are coming through the door that have been in these parties and see what I'm talking about. We're calling everybody to come on board. We need to break the cycle. When people come and say, oh, I am from here, I said, I don't care. You come in as a human being. You come in as a Gambian. That is what I care about, not about where you come from.
So I understand.
I want to put this into perspective a little bit. When endorsement is acceptance of your candidacy. So say, for example, you're calling on all these 15 political parties to accept you as their candidate. The way you're describing it, it also means that they're going to give up on their own candidacy and so support for you.
Yes, so that we can break the cycle of all this nonsense that is going on in the country.
And your basis is because you are offering them neutrality.
Yes.
Is that good enough base for any political party to give up on themselves?
Well, this is the thing. When they give, it's not like they're giving up. on themselves. They still have their parties to run. They're still the leaders of their party. But let us work together. This gives them an opportunity for everybody to have a place to be able to work. Like I said, if I go into office today, I don't care what party you're coming from. We all need to come together at some point and work together. It cannot be that I go with my party color and then it's only my party color people will work there. I need to be able to work with each and every Gambian that really wants to work to take this country forward.
So my final thing on that will be, so what agenda goes forward? Is it going to be a collective work on preparing what is going to be the agenda? For example, the APRC agenda might be a little different from the UDP, from the PPP, from the NPP.
That is why I have a roadmap. And the roadmap that I have is what I created, which we need to work on for this Gambia to go through. And each one of them will have that opportunity.
What is the roadmap?
Well, the roadmap, which is the, how do you call it, my manifesto, which is a 10-pillar point. You know, just 10 points to get the Gambia to where it's supposed to be. Listen, every president that sits should not be sitting for 30 years and thinking that because I built this, I have to finish it. You understand? The max is 2 terms. Those 2 terms, you might start a foundation. Guess what? When you're done, somebody else can take from the foundation and go up. But we have a problem in Africa. Everybody thinks I have to sit, I have to start this, I have to finish it, and even finish it and still live in it and paint it and work on it and repaint it. So the tendency of staying there 30 years, 20 years, we're having a problem. And we need to start understanding these things. And this is what democracy is all about. We need to start saying, you know what, I'm just here to set the playing field. Let us build it, let us fix it. Let us change it. When we fix it, bring it to this plateau, somebody else come, they do their quota. Somebody else come, you do their quota. That way you say we all these past presidents helped to build this country. But of course, in our society or in Africa, we want to build this from start to finish and still move in it and sit there. And we cannot move like that. We need to start really working differently. And this is why I said we need to break that chain. And if you tell me that these political parties that have all been here established and all that, let us talk about establishment. Let's talk about how well they have been established really. I mean, if I have a political party for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, as long as the former government or as long as PPP time, and you are a opposition political party, what have you really been doing for 30 years? You are as responsible as the sitting government to also make some developments. You are as responsible, if you can call Fabakari in the provinces and say, listen, do you have, can we mobilize for elections? Is coming mobilize? You can still call him and say, do you have electricity? Do you have water? Do you have school? Do you have hospital? I should be able to see your paint, your color of your party or whatever, all over the country. By now, people like me would not have even the how do you call it, the room to even stand. So you cannot tell me to join something that I feel don't even really, what have they really done? Don't even have a platform or structure, because it's not that if structure means hanging around and talking all day and drinking a tire or whatever, and then we wonder why today coalition failed. Of course it will fail, because did we look at the people that really formed the coalition? Did we look at what they had as an agreement? Even the agreement is a problem to bring it out now. So when everybody went in, what happened? They forgot about even what they agreed on. Maybe the people that were even still on course on that is people like Mr. Halifa Saleh. They were still on course with that.
On the agreement?
They were still trying to say, you know what, we had an agreement. Some of them said we had an agreement. Some denied it completely. So at what point do you now tell me that I should join one of these that even to form a coalition within themselves, and they've been around for so many years?
So your point is you're not joining any political party because you do not have confidence in them.
I don't.
Okay, so you just mentioned, I know you have reasons to not really delve into the manifesto itself, but you mentioned something that's very important,
10 points.
And it reminds us of the agreement that we're talking about now, your 10-point manifesto. Can you make a mention of these 10 points?
Well, the 10-point manifesto is easy. It's just simple things that will take Gambia forward. It's our economy, it's our education system, our medical system, health system, healthcare. Then you talk about our agriculture, our infrastructure. You know, you talk about human settlement. You talk about our security. You know, and what else am I forgetting? You know, so these are all part of our 10-point manifesto, which are detrimental to Gambia. We need to get that to par. We need to build our economy. We need to work on our agriculture. We need to work our education. Education is everything. Education is what is bringing us down right now. You know,
so it's like you've covered the entire sector that the government is about.
Yes, some are existing. Some of these are already existing. We need to improve them, and we need to work on them. Our education system is right now, I think, is deteriorating. You know, at a space that if we don't watch it, our children or grandkids will. Not everyone can afford to send their kids out of here. Not everyone can afford to put your children in private schools. And if the private schools can accelerate, there's something they're doing that the public is not doing. So we need to look at that. You look at Corona right now, you're doing classes on TV. How many children really have TV? How many people are you reaching? And then you're not using analog, you're using digital. So really, who are you really teaching at the end of the day? And then parents go to buy cash power, there's no electricity. Or there's no network to buy the cash power, to come and fill cash power so that that child can watch the TV to do the homework. You go to Nawek, cash power, there's no, so there's a lot of wrongs. Because we try to do things as it happens. When things, oh, let's do this, without going to the grassroots, without starting from. This should have been implemented in the schools. Then we would not be having these problems right now. You know, students should be able to access the computers, the networks. They should be able to get online. You know, by primary school, primary 6. Then from primary 6 to high school. High school, everyone should be on computers and how do you call it, and technology. You know?
Fatou, so I will hand over to you, but before I do, when the manifesto is ready, it will be interesting for the public. Myself, I'm very excited to know exactly what your take as a candidate will be on all of these sectors that you've mentioned. But just to tease the audience on what you have to offer, especially with regards to education. I am an educationist, so I know the crisis that is currently there. It seems like a cycle of failure that is perpetual. But you've done your assessment of the educational sector. Is there any particular way that you're going to approach reforms around this sector?
Yeah, well, let's just say that I was also a teacher. My mom was a teacher for almost 40 years. My dad also taught before he went to Gamtel. So I came from a line of you know, people that were disciplinaries and worked in the education system. When Mrs. Ndao, for example, started, my mom was one of the first that was there, and prior to that as well. So in those days already, education was at Mrs. Ndao's level high. So, but it never went higher than that. It stopped. So there's a lot of reforms to be done. The existing schools that we have need to be rebranded.
How?
Well, if you go to a classroom right now, have you been to any public school recently? There's one right where all the mansions are, which is in Bigelow, and half of the roofs have flown away. I mean, the teachers are doing 2 classes a day, class in the morning, class in the afternoon. You don't have electricity to pay for books. You to pay for to do your test papers. You don't have electricity to do your how do you call it, classes or computer classes. But then how are you grading these kids? You understand? Then we need to bring back some of the old system, add it with new system. I don't understand the grading level that they have right now. You go primary 1 to primary 6, then you go, I think, grade 7, grade 8, and then you still have to go another, I don't know how many years to high school. So by the time you're done, I mean, and then you're paying, it's not even free. I mean, you either midway, your parents cannot afford, you drop out. Why don't we bring a system that is now tied internationally? Because we have kids that when they're done, they want to travel to England to finish studies. They want to go to the US to study, or Canada. Why can't we partner or have institutions that are working with us so that our kids will now have point grades instead of percentages and stuff like that, so that it switches over and your grades can be transferred or your credits can be transferred to these other schools.
But why can the approach be to build more higher institutions?
That's what I'm saying.
So
we will
have to,
but we will.
Abroad.
You're talking about how do we how do you call
Rebrand.
it? What we have. We rebrand what we have. When you rebrand, of course, then you'll add. You will add high schools, you will add college, you'll add universities. The university right now is pathetic. The students are standing outside. They don't have enough seats. We cannot be up till now talking about 5.8 million spent in 3 months in COVID-19 when I think that could have done something to have extra classes. You know, so these are all things. We don't need to have one university. We can have 3. We have 3 major towns. You have Brikama, you have Basse, you have where the one is right now. These are all areas that you can build extra universities and have 1 or 2 colleges or more colleges around so that kids can have access. It's all about accessibility. You cannot be in Basse and want to come all the way here for university. Then you don't have a place to stay. You understand? But if you have one there and then you have, for example, a college all around the place, what does it take? The money we are wasting on certain things or privately, I think can help develop this country a lot.
But our education system is not just about accessibility also, it's about quality.
It's about quality
as well.
Yes.
Because I know the former regime has built hundreds of schools across the country.
Yeah, but if you build hundreds of schools, but you don't train the teachers.
That's the thing.
Teachers have to go. I remember my mom had to do a teacher's degree. They had to send them back to school. Even in the US, I was a parent. I was part of the teachers council in my kids' school. I was the parent-teacher council. I was part of that. And I remember we were voting out, or they wanted us to vote out this elderly lady that has been working for the school for so many years, only because the new system requires all teachers to go and get their degree, you know, on teaching. And it's like, I don't know, I think I forgot the name of the degree, but it was a teacher's degree. And the old woman said she can't because she cannot use technology. And they wanted to fire her for that. And we the parents had to fight for her to see how best they can accommodate her or people like her so she doesn't get fired. So these are things that we can introduce here where teachers have to go to training and get this kind of degree. Software skills, you know, computer skills have to be trained to these teachers so that they can teach these kids. You know, so the teachers have to go back to school basically. We need to also have to have a system where our dropouts can go back to school. We have a lot of dropouts, a lot. We need to have a back to school program. We have to have a back to school program where if you don't take your children to school, or if you, the parent, don't want to take your children to school, you, the parent, will be held accountable.
So you just mentioned something regarding to money, especially how 5 point something was spent on COVID-19. If we have you in government today as the leader of the government, how would you handle the economy differently to what we have today?
You see, when if you're talking about COVID-19, I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
I mean, generally economy.
Okay. The economy, you have to find ways to boost your economy. And like I said, I cannot dwell on this because it's in the manifesto, how we're going to boost the economy. And what we're going to do to boost the economy, we have our agriculture that we need to work on. We have a lot of things that we have internally. You can stop, for example, all this so-called importation of certain things, and we can have our homegrown. You know, we need to build what we have on ground. You know, you have to look at our mining. You have to look at our fisheries. You have to look at all these things that can make Gambia. Gambia has stuff that can make money, you know, and then encourage creating jobs for our own people and business for our own people. Everything here is exported. Everything here is imported. Everything, all our money is exported because we are buying things from outside, importing things. So all our funds is going out instead of staying in. So you need to look at all these ways to keep that in and stop borrowing so much and work with what we have. And it can be done. It just takes a good planning and being organized.
Okay.
It's a lot of work because it has not been done for a long time. People were doing what they want for the past almost 30, 40 years. And we need to start changing that narrative.
Yeah. I just hope that after your registration is completed, we'll come back here to talk
Yes.
specifically
Yes.
about your manifesto, because these are interesting,
Yes.
exciting things
Yes.
that you're mentioning. But just to move things to another level.
I would want to come in one area. I know a lot of us women are excited about her candidacy, and because this is what we look forward to. And I remember when the Lord Mayor and the other lady went into contest for the mayoral election, we were excited, and that's because it gives us hope.
Yes.
It gives us hope that women are coming out now to get into this male-dominated field.
Yes.
But what specific? I know you cannot be specific, but what would you do to improve the conditions of Gambian women? All they have are known for is following politicians, clapping and dancing and voting for politicians. But once they're elected, they forget it. They're forgotten about. So
this is why
what would you do?
This is one of the reasons we're sensitizing a lot. We meet with them, we talk to them, we tell them about their rights as women, what they can do, and if they are at the age where they cannot work anymore in the system, their children should be able to have that future, to be able to have the opportunity to work, because we're trying to give equal opportunity to all. We're going to try to make sure women are empowered. If you're into business, we're going to empower a certain amount of women per year in our society, in the Gambia, so that women too that are in business can accelerate. And women
You're going to do that as a government or as a candidate?
Well, like I said, I cannot be, you're making me go.
Okay.
But like I said, we have programs that will be very, very good for women to empower them. We are right now even talking to them on a regular basis, empower them and teach them what their rights are and what they should not be doing. Just like I have the youths in my office, I have lots of young girls in my office, they're women. And I teach them, I said, listen, don't go into a political party that you don't know what their agenda is all about. Go there, edit the manifesto yourself, read through it, see if there's something in there for you. If there's nothing in there for you, then my friend, you shouldn't be here. Always be part of. Don't just go there and be a clapper. Don't just go there and be a boy or the guy that they send to make the attire, or the girl that they send to go and bring the t-shirts and the drink and hold the briefcase. I said, be part of it.
Yeah, but beyond just sensitizing them, I think if you have a platform, the one that you have, and you have an opportunity to really prioritize women's participation in politics, in what practical ways do you think that can happen?
And that is what I say, we empower them so they will be in the, into
but
politics.
In what ways?
Well, I have that too, all in my...
Okay, we talk about it.
Like I said, because I'm trying so hard to give more by talking, but it's hard because I don't want to. It's like I would just put my manifesto down, and then it will not be fair to the people that we're working on. But like I said, we have a lot right now. As I'm talking, I call all women to be part of politics, part of the decision-making body in government, because we are our lives in the Gambia, the women's lives are being decided the majority by men. Men cannot decide for us. So you as a woman, you need to be in politics, for example, because certain areas that women, for example, this marriage, women in marriage right now, with this, how they call being battered and all that, who's there to make these decisions for them? How they should be treated? Who's there? All these policies that are being made since the First Republic, who has been there representing really the woman. The majority are men. So we need to change that narrative. We need to have women in the decision-making bodies to decide for the woman, represent the woman, but represent them not like we have representation in the past, but represent them properly. So if we have a 50-50 balance, I think that will work.
Yeah, I just hope that you can understand our position as well. To have a political candidate here and not talk deeply into their programs is also hard for us, the journalists, because that's the exciting part.
Yeah, but as an aspiring candidate, I am an aspiring to become a candidate. So I'm also working on everything that I'm working on. But like I told you, I do have powerful programs. And if I do say inclusive for women and how do you call it, equal opportunity. Equal opportunity says a lot. Equal opportunity meaning I'm ready to give a lot of opportunities to women to be part of decision-making body for women in the Gambia. And I think that says volume.
Yeah. Also where our motivation is coming from, or our, how do I put this, our concern is coming from is the lack of women participation in politics historically. You being a shining motivation for a lot of young women who feel like Rahilo came here and she did it. Marisol is willing to do it and she has put herself out there in the public. This can be a huge motivation for a lot of us who feel we want to do it, but we don't know if we should, because the backlash, it doesn't just come from men, it also comes from our own women that have been influenced by society's perception about the role of women. So what thought processes did you go through to decide that regardless of the backlash I'm going to get, this is what I want to do and I'm going to do it?
Well, I thank God that I have a thick skin. I thank God that I've been exposed, you know, and if you have been somebody that you were always, you know, looked at for your style or the way you dress. I'm an artist in the sense I grew up in the art industry and people look at me differently. And I have the thick skin. This is one of the reasons I said I give the voice to the voiceless. The women here, especially in Africa in general, being looked in a certain way. You know, even sometimes I see comments like, oh, she's a woman, she needs to be in the kitchen. Or she's a woman, let her go and have children. And we need to break through that. I was in Ethiopia last year, and I was in a room with I don't know how many thousands of women from 50 different countries. The most powerful black woman I have ever seen in the platform, from the US to the whole of Africa. And that made me, you know, realize that yes, I am on the right path. And out of all those women, I was the only one even with a presentation. So I made myself proud by saying, hey, you know what? I can do this. And if I see, and they ask the same question, some of them, like, how can we stand for these women? I cannot carry a bag of rice. I cannot carry a bag of onions like the women are doing in the market. I cannot do all what they're doing, but what I can do is be their voice. And yes, you're gonna get the backlash, you're gonna get all of that, because the society we live in think that women have a certain place, which is in the kitchen. Well, this is what I'm saying to my brothers. I'm sorry, those times have changed. You know, you, the man alone nowadays, cannot bring the whole cake home. A woman working is bringing 50-50 to the house. That doesn't mean you will disrespect your husband. The respect is still there. But you bringing the other 50 also helps to maintain the house and to take care. This is the world we live in. You know, men travel abroad and they live like that. But then when they come home, they want to change that. What makes abroad different from here? When you're abroad with your husband, trust me, you'll work. You'll go and work and bring some bacon. But then the moment they come here, then it's like, oh, society. I think that's an excuse. Because not only women abroad can do it, not because you're abroad you can do it, you can do it back home too. And I think we play a big role. I mean, if you look at the percentage of women, when you go to the hospital right now and you see children being born, how many boys are being born? So the chances of you having only girls as a man is another thing. So you want to tell me all those girls, you know, sometimes you have to put the men in the picture and say, listen, if you have all girls, what are you going to do? You want all of them to just sit down and be housewives? How are they going to take care of you when you're old? How are they going to give that back to you as a dad? You want your daughter to be like me tomorrow, to be the head of state. You want your daughter to be a doctor. You want your daughter to be a surgeon. And how are you going to encourage that? So we have come from that era, and we are in this, is the 21st century. And I want to encourage every young girl to, whatever you have been dreaming of, don't limit yourself. Trust me, we can do a lot more. Don't limit yourself. Yes, the backlash will come, but we have to break that cycle. It will come regardless.
Yeah. And finally on that, Fatou, I know
okay, go
I'm
ahead.
dominating this for now, but I'll hand over to you.
Okay.
What have been your experience since you went public, just as a woman aspiring to be the president?
Well, like I said, the backlash, you know, but I accept it, you know.
What was the backlash about?
Well, oh, her hairstyle, her looks, you know, she doesn't even look Gambian. Well, I get that. Even on a every day, they think I'm not Gambian. But I'm glad that they look at me and don't think I'm Gambian. In America, they didn't think I'm African. They say I'm not African, you know, and I have to prove myself I'm 100% African, you know. So me being Gambian and looking different, we need to show that, yes, Gambia does have different kinds of looks. Gambians are not just, hey, I'm wrapped around and all that. No.
And I'm glad you said that Gambia has different kinds of looks. Yes, that's a debate. Who is a Gambian?
Yes.
What is Gambia?
You know, what is Gambia? Gambia is a mixture of people that came together and is one Gambia. We are all from different ethnic groups. We're all mixed. Now you see even Lebanese Gambians.
Yeah.
You know, you see all kinds of Gambians. You even have Chinese Gambians. Hello? So you want to tell me they're born here and they're not Gambians? We cannot be that. We cannot go to America and say we are fighting for our rights and we are part of this and all that. And then we come home and we're like, you know, this is home. We're only supposed to be a certain way. No, Gambia is changing. What about the Gambians that have children that are mixed in Europe? That want to come home one day? We're going to say they're not Gambians? We're going to say those children are not part of us? We have brothers and sisters that have kids that are mixed. So who are those? They're aliens? We're not going to accept them? But we talk about the diaspora. We talk about, oh, we want the diaspora to be part. We want the diaspora to vote. But are we accepting to the diaspora's children to be part of, to be Gambians? What is the look of a Gambian? We have to, you see, we have to get out of this little box. We need to start thinking big for Gambia. We need to start go outside the box and think big so we can grow. Gambia cannot be this little thinking like the little streets I see them building in Tobacco Road right now. I thought those streets should be bigger because we are bigger, they're bigger cars. They're still building the same road that was there, just fixing it for how many years? And I'm saying that to say, let us stop thinking so small. Let us start thinking big so we can grow. When our children or our grandkids are coming from outside and want to say, I want to go home to where grandma is, I want to go home to where my mom is, you telling me that that child is not going to be accepted in our society? Because what? He's got beautiful long hair, but then we are wearing weave? Hello?
Yeah. So I just, before I take my first commercial break, I still want to come back to the scrutiny part. Generally, politicians are scrutinized properly, and Gambia is no exception. In fact, Gambia has gone worse now with the way things are done now after 2016. I know since you announced, so many things happened, so many things came out, but are you prepared for that kind of scrutiny? I mean, you lived in the US, people will go to the length of scrutinizing which school you went to. Do you have criminal records? Do you have things out there? These things are really things that people will go. Are you prepared for that kind of scrutiny?
This is why I put everything out there. I put everything that I'm supposed to put out there, I put it out there, because, you know, this is one of the reasons I said, when I see people posting things on social media, when I see people talking on social media, I advise all the platforms I've been to, I've been advising people, be very careful what you're doing or saying right now, because if you want to be somebody tomorrow, these things can come back to haunt you. And I thank God that I was raised with different people, in the sense that, you know, like when I said I work for Auntie Janke, she was a no-nonsense person. She wasn't, you know, a role model. I worked for, you know, I worked even in Novotel, and there too, in those days, you have to be a certain way, you have to carry yourself a certain way. I worked, you know, so these people and aunties and uncles, and my mom being a disciplinarian and my dad, these are the things that made me who I am today. There are certain things that I could not do, even if you come here at nowadays, young girls 18 will come and tell you I have a boyfriend. That time, 18 years, you dare not fix your face to even say that, you get a slap. You know, like my mom used to say, we'll give you a black backhand slap. You don't even fix your face to do that. So I thank God from coming from that era, from that time, you know. And I advise this to young girls. If you want to be something, if you want to be somebody tomorrow, be very mindful of what you do with your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that brought something to mind.
Yep.
Very mindful because of what you want to be tomorrow.
Okay, so essentially what you're saying is, as it is happening now, whether it is opponents doing this or whether they are independent actors doing it, and it falls into the hands of opponents, where people's darts are being digged and brought to the light. Are you saying that that cannot happen for you? Because
well, like I said,
careful.
people can consort. Some things came out, and people said I did that, but I always believe in the truth. The truth prevails. If you feel that you're okay within yourself and that everything that you're doing in what you think is proper, people will still come up with things. And like I said, when they talked about, I said I went to university, I said I never did. Go back and watch all the videos. I never did. The same thing I've been saying from day one is the same thing I'm saying till today. And they keep asking the same, and I keep repeating the same. And then they come out and say, oh, she never went. I said, I never said, go back and listen to it. I never did. I didn't have the time. What I did do is certify myself in a lot of fields, especially for what I wanted to do at those times. If I wanted to work at a car dealership, I went and get myself blue collar certified to go and work in the dealership. Because that is how I can sell a certain amount of cars per month. Those things I did. So whatever it is that is to come cannot be detrimental to me because I know what I've done in my life and what I didn't do. Nit ki foog nga óolu sa boppa. Moo tax ma ne jigéen boo paree taxaw il faut nga dem nga seet bu baax lan ak lan nga fi def. One thing I can say, I loved my hairstyles, I loved my looks, I loved to dress, I used to design my outfits, I used to tell the tailors to sew it. That's me, but that's my artistic side. That I did.
Wow, great. So we'll take our first commercial break. When we come back, we will have Mary's opinion on the draft. Also, assessment on the current government. You know, she did talk about the COVID-19. That's something we would want to have an opinion on. The continuous declaration of the state of emergency, and of course, the monies that are being spent right now. So when we come back, we'll look at all of that.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Sam pap dee na déedéet daf ma yónni woon ma joué ko dégg waaw yàlla def mu gagné jàppoon $100,000 la
la ilaha illallah
te yow xam nga ne sama papa dafa amee cardiaque
yow da ngaa dof yow xam nga luy $100,000
xam naa ko kay man naa lu ñoo bëggoon nga dimbali
demal na nga def damaa toog rek sama xel mi ne ci yow xam nga bërki démb li daal si benn waay fee waaw ma romb ko rek bërki démb muy yuuxu di tëb ma ni kii lu ko dal ñu ne ma daal ci loto gaming Gambie bi la laal
jar na ko
laal na ci lu di waaw
nga dafa am quarté am kente am tiercé waaw maanaam nag tey jii kente bi la te jackpot bee passé xaalis
kente mooy lan
kente maanaam mooy juróomi fas yi
waaw beneen bi
am na quarté mooy ñeenti fas yi ak tiercé tey nag xaalis bi daa gën a yokk
lu tax
ndax jackpot bële dañ kaa tegaat ci bii maanaam juróomi fas yi boo ko jàppee ci ordre mooy risque nga désordre bi sax day fay bu ma ko jàppoon
yooyu moom noonu la demee da ngay dem rek jouer
am na lu ma yaakaar
man gis naa seen kii yi keesku yu ndaw yi ci biir dëkk bi mais daal dama ni lii moom amul xaalis da nga ciy def sa xaalis
del jël wecce rek sànni ko fa xool jëmbat la laa ilaha illallah yow li nga wax ni tey ji bu yàlla dogaloon ma gañe ko lu mu gàtt
fi mu toll nii boo gañe woon $100,000
waaw lu may def
waaw nooy def
xam nga yow sama xarit nga
waaw
damay fexe nga rey say noonu
ci nan
lu mu gàtt $50,000
waay
Thierno woowee ambulance
lan la lu xew ni
sa baay gay dee na
sama papa gay lu ko rey
$100,000 dalaa ne ko boo ma gàññaloon si li ma la yónni dama ko koy jox mu daanu ni sama kaw
man waxuma ko mu waxee woon la ko noonu yow la ko waroon informé ndax yow yaa ko gañe yaa gañe jàppal
fay lempo warugal la si képp koo xam ne doomi réew mi nga ak ñu fi dëkk bu fekkee ne ci at mi sa koom-koom weesu na $250,000 mbete weer bu nekk di nga am lu tollu si $200,000 lempo si la nguur gi di sukkandiku ngir liggéey yokkute réew mi GRA mooy banxaas bu nguuri Gambia sas ngir mu fayeku lépp luy lempo ci biir réew mi ba tax na GRA di yëgal faykati lempo yi ne warugal la pour ñu fay lu ñu naan withholding tax on contract payment maanaam bépp contrat bu waay joxe te si biir réew mi la ñu toog kon xaalisi contrat bi ngeen nangutoo war nga cee wàññi ci xayma téeméer bu nekk fukka bu fekkee ne contrat bi dëkkut ci biir réew mi bu boobaa di nga war a wàññi téeméer bu nekk fukka ak juróom lii mooy lempo bu ñu naan withholding tax on contract payment lii mooy lempo bi nga xam ne yow mi joxe contrat warugal la nga wëlbatiku dem fay ko ci maakaani GRA tax office bu la gën a jege mbete ci banque yi GRA jagleel pour fay lempo war ngaa jéebal lempo bi si diiri fukki fan ak juróom gannaaw bi nga wàññee ci xaalis si contrat bi amul benn contracteur bu ñu teggil fay lempo bi xanaa mu fekk ne nguuri Gambia ñoo ko jéegale boole si projet yi nga xam ne mbootaay ndimbali ñoo koy dépense GRA di fayeku lempo ngir yokkute réew mi.
Welcome back to part 2 of this interview. Nyuma, the first part was really interesting. You got to give us an idea as to who Mari is, and I must say, I love her confidence level. This is what we need. I mean, the girls to look at her and say, if she can be who she is, I can also do it. I think it's important that we have so many Marisok, so many Rugilo, so many other women, the Yakubas in the political arena. Like she rightly mentioned, when you go to the National Assembly today, how many women do we have there? Today, I was listening to Honorable Tumanjai when they were talking about abortion. They're talking about our bodies. They're talking about things that are affecting women. How can men even decide on things like that? That's how critical it is. When you talk about women's body, how they use their body, how they make decisions about their body, women should have a big role in that. Even in America, this is where you see it goes up to the Supreme Court level, women fighting because these are their bodies. They want to make those decisions. And if we don't have that representative at the assembly, that is really alarming. I think that's why it's exciting to have people like her in politics, so that women can look up to them.
Exactly. The reason why I'm liking this conversation is because we're talking about the substance of things that really matter. Usually when women come into the public like this, there are superficial things about how she looks, how she lived her life, your hair, for example, that comes to overshadow the real issues. And it's important that we look beyond the superficial things that make women. Appearance doesn't necessarily mean issues that matter. But based on that, just recently there's a scandal about another political aspirant that came forth, and we are seeing an outpour of solidarity, especially on social media, from men for saying we are showing solidarity, although every decent individual should condemn the exposure of individuals, whoever they are in that very compromising situation. But then it picks our minds to what the situation would have been if the person involved were to be a woman. What would the public's reaction would have been? Have you thought about this?
Yes, I did. I am not saying that they should not sympathize or empathize with him. I think the person that sent that video, that was a bit low. That was low, not even a bit. I think it's low of that person, and I think Gambia should be beyond that. You do things like that with somebody you know and somebody you intimate with or whatever. But I was just also thinking, wow, if this was me, I mean, I had a sundress. Even though the people didn't see the length of the dress. And this was a sundress that I was wearing on a Sunday with my kids. We went to the supermarket. Actually, that photo was taken by my daughter. We were going to the supermarket. From the supermarket, we go to the beach, you know, and that was blown out of proportion that I'm half naked, you know, or I'm sitting at home, you know, with my kids and I wear a nice top. And of course, my breast is showing a little bit and everybody's insulting me. So I was like, wow, if this was me, probably by now they'll be throwing rocks at me, you know, with no compromise. With no compromise. And this just shows you the kind of society that we live in. And I don't see people sympathizing with me. I don't see a lot of sympathizers that I see now, you know, saying, oh, let her still run. People are, she's not fit. I've had insults. People insult my mother. People insult my, you know, family, you know, and even though, you know, I said, hey, you know what? My mother passed away. May her soul rest in peace. That's fine. That just shows you the kind of person you are. But like I said, I'm here to sensitize people. I'm here to tell people to be careful, to be mindful of when we try to bring people down. You know, I just think that if it was me or a woman, it would have been nastier. It would have been nastier from the male sector. It would have been nastier from the female sector. Probably I would have even had maybe a little bit sympathy from the male sector than from the female. And it is a sad situation. And this is one of the reasons I'm calling for unity.
So why do you think women in politics go through stuff like this? Is it that the society is not ready for women leaders? Why do you think this is so? Because I know we have seen this during the mayoral elections, and you also. Why do you think this is happening to female
They feel
women
that we are not ready. You know, the male, you have to understand the whole world is male dominated. It's not just Gambia, it's not just Africa, it's everywhere. Before women took their stand in the United States, anywhere, you know, you saw what Hillary Clinton went through. You know, it's just not here, it's just everywhere. The male thing that it's a male dominated
threatening to
world, But when you talk about Africa, last time I checked, for example, when you say Africa, you say Mother Africa. So I don't understand, you know, when men have issues, they run to their mothers, you know, or their elder sisters, you know. There's no man that can born a child, like can give birth. It's women that give birth to a man, however big you are. And I just think that I don't think they want to accept that women should be there because they know that we are powerful and we can be very powerful. And yes, you have women who are so powerful that it makes the man to be scared. You know, you have to look at the two sides of the coin. When women are too powerful, sometimes the women can be a little bit overwhelming, even to us woman to woman, because they feel, I'm a woman, I'm powerful, and you know, you start behaving like a man. That's not how it's supposed to be. You can be powerful, but you still have that, especially for your husband at home. When you go home, hey, you are the wife. When you go home, you understand?
A whole different conversation.
Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? No, but I think this is what the fear is. Like when women become powerful, then they feel that even at home, they cannot come down. Then it plays with the side. You know, no, and it's not supposed to be like that. But I just feel that women should be given that opportunity to prove ourselves, because we take care of the homes, we take care of everything, and regardless whether you give us money for breakfast or money for lunch, you come home, you will eat, we take care of you. And it's time women step up. For example, in the Gambia, with what is going on now, I think only a woman can fix it, because we fix things.
And it's funny that you said
fix things.
A lot of people agree that it's a woman that takes care of the home.
Exactly.
Yet we are not trusted enough to take care of the country.
Listen, but she said something very interesting as well, that if this would have been her, maybe she would have got more sympathy from men than women. Why is it also that women we don't support each other?
Because women, always have this, how do you call it, competitive nature. It is natural, it is in our DNA. We are very competitive. You know, we are very like, oh, you know, we look at another woman, we feel we are not the same, or we start feeling insecure, or, you know, women have that, you know, and I try to...
deeper than that, though.
Probably it's even deeper than that. You know, like I said, I try not to, you know, I don't have that problem. If I see you looking beautiful, I'll say, wow, this is gorgeous. I love your hair. I don't have issues. But we have to understand that people are not like you or me.
Yeah.
We're all different.
Yeah.
You understand? And the reason why I said I'll have more sympathy from men, you have to look at men. Men grow softer towards women. Men go to their mothers when the things get tough. Men goes back to their wives when things get tough. You know, so they might get upset, but then in the end they'll say, you know what, she's somebody's mother, you know what, she's somebody's, you understand. Then they become, then the story is different. Even right now, as I'm talking to you, I invite all women to come on board. I invite all women to come and stand with me, together with me, so we can do this. But I have more men coming on board than women. I have quite a lot of women who come, but it's like, I have more men being more bold, just coming into the office.
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to say the reason why I said it can be deeper than that, because it's a conversation that goes around a lot, and we are not able to understand really why are women resistant to other women breaking barriers and overcoming the status quo. I'm not a psychologist, and I don't claim to be one, but I think when people are subjected to marginalization and violence to a point where they have internalized these things, it becomes unacceptable to see their own kind wanting to act differently. Because
when you're not happy,
they probably do not feel that they can do it
exactly.
themselves.
When you're not happy, when you're home and the person you're home with feels that you're not capable of doing anything, you might want to do something big, but because of that, like you said, being marginalized, you look at somebody like Marisol out there. What do you think you will do? You think you're going to be encouraging?
I can do it, therefore
she can. Who do you think you
yeah.
You will start looking at yourself in the mirror like, I even look good. I don't even do my hair like this. I'm more. Somebody made a comment like that. Somebody was shown my picture and said, she's running for president. Would you vote for her? If she can run, I can run. I've heard that many times. But she has not even gone to finish primary school, much to say high school. But she felt just because she's living somewhere and in Europe or whatever, or America, and she feels now that she's in the Western world, if she said, if I can do it, she can do it.
And necessarily wouldn't be a problem.
And I don't say no. I said, hey, come on board. If you feel that you can do it, come on board. You know, just make sure you wear your armor, you know, your armor suit on, because, you know, you're going to get all that. And this is what we need to, why I said we need to break that cycle. We need to say to ourselves, we can all do it. If you are at home, or you're married and you're unhappy, or your husband is not treating you right, you need to do something about that. You need to find ways to make yourself happy. You need to break out of that. You understand? Because you can do it. We've seen so many women in this world who they break out of that, take care of their children, work 2-3 jobs, and the kids are for some reason more blessed, you know, because the woman works so hard. So they can do it. They have the capacity to do it. But like you said, it's because they were suppressed and they're unhappy, and their life is then to make somebody else happy.
Okay. Yeah.
So
let me come in.
Go ahead.
Just quickly. I'm excited about women issues.
Yes.
Really. So we're bringing the focus back on you now. You had your first test as an aspiring candidate when a controversy came out about somebody who supposedly was directing a comment to you and demeaning a particular ethnic group. And people started questioning is this what she represents, or is this what her platform represents really? What can you tell us about that incident?
Well, like I told the people, I sent out an apology because it came on a platform that was created on my behalf, which is a support platform, and the audio came to that platform. And I was shocked when they played it for me. And I was like, wow, this is ridiculous. How can even somebody call me advising me? But you have to understand, since I started this, I have a lot of advisors. You know, I have so many advisors. And sometimes you have to be polite and listen. But this particular advisor decided to leave this message on a platform. And there's nothing I can do about that other than apologize and say, hey, you know, what she did was wrong. That's not what I stand for. You know, if I'm calling for unity and I'm calling for no tribalism, you know, no bigotry and all that, then I should not be encouraging something like that. And I don't encourage something like that. Yeah. I did get the number of the lady. I did call the lady and I told her off. I said, even if you were calling me personally on my personal line, this is not something you would call to tell me, because I don't have that with you on that level. And my family is Mandingo. My fiance is Mandingo. My auntie, her children, they are Mandingos. You know, they're from Badibu. You know, I have families from all over. My team. This is one of the reasons I said I don't want to form a political party, because you come to my office, it's Mandingos that are dominated. Mr. Musa Sonko here, you know, His Excellency is right here. He's a Mandingo. You know, he's not mixed. You know, and he's our chairman. So that tells you a lot. How can I insult a tribe that I'm coming from, or a tribe that I'm related to, and people that are surrounding me, that are even, you know, holding my back? I mean, come on, they will be the first to leave. Yeah, but beyond apologizing on behalf of this person, a lot of people expected that you would come out to publicly condemn. I did. I did by apologizing on that platform. I did by talking to, I think, the Fatou show, Rahman show. I talked about it. I also sent out a statement. I mean, you see, one thing I came to realize also in Gambia, Gambians, we like to dwell on the negative. When something is positive, we don't dwell on the positive. Things can happen and we'll go day after day after day after day instead of moving forward. The woman did what she did. She herself sent out an audio, which she didn't even sent to me. She sent it to somebody else and said, please put it on all platforms. I made a mistake and I am apologizing. So that just shows you that it is not even me and her conversation. People say even that her voice was my voice. It went to the point where people say it's my voice. It went to the point where people said, no, I have a conversation with her, and the audio that I sent to her, where is that audio? They need to look for that audio. I'm like, are you serious? You know? But I believe in, hey, what happened? She did it. She apologized. She made a mistake. I don't encourage that. I don't do this tribalism. Like I said, my family is Mandingo. My family is Jola. My family is Karoninga. My family is Fula. They even call me Marisol. I have relatives everywhere, and anyone that I talk bad on or talk bad about or insult, I'm insulting myself. I cannot call for one Gambia when I'm insulting somebody. Does that make sense? Then the people in my office will all go. And if they all go, I'm left sitting there looking at myself. You know? Yeah. I have majority Mandingo. If I say I'm opening a political party today, a lot of people will not join. They will say, key office and be so say half a face. My in-laws are Mandingo. So how can I do that? And you know, Mandingo in-laws, you know how they can be. They'll be like, you're insulting us. You know, so I cannot afford to do that if I'm calling for unity, if I'm calling to stand together with everybody. These are my brothers and sisters. I see everybody as a Gambian. I don't see tribe, I don't see religion, because if I talk to you long enough, maybe you tell me, okay, I'm half Mandingo, I'm half this, or my auntie is half Mandingo, half this, or I'm half Jola. We are so mixed. We are so connected that, you know, we are one Gambia. We need to focus on being one Gambia so we can move this country forward. We cannot tolerate tribalism at all in our system. If not, we cannot work. Gambia is too small. We have all intermarried so much that we cannot say, I am 100% Mandingo. Even if you're 100% Mandingo, you go back to your parents, they'll say yes, but don't forget that your auntie that, or don't forget your sister married. Somebody in the family has married somebody else. And we cannot stop that. So let us come together as collectively as just one Gambian, and we work as Gambians. Because when you go abroad and you die abroad, they don't care whether you're Mandingo or Jola or whatever. It's a Gambian.
Yeah.
Even if you have a foreign passport, they put born where? Banjul. In the Gambia. He's a Gambian. You are a Gambian. First.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to, in as much as we want a female president, which I know Numa, I call her the feminist. Even though we want a female president, we want more female representatives in our electoral system. But we also want to know if people are tested. We just don't want to put people in office just because they are women or just because they are men or they are tribe men. We want people who can deliver. What specific record can we look at and say, Marie has done this? If she has led this company or she has done this particular thing, if we put her in office, she will deliver. What can we look at?
Well, I came to Gambia. When you look at politicians, you always look at what one has done for your country first.
Yeah.
Since I came, I've been working, like I said, on charity work. I've created platforms, like for example, the wrestling platform I created where wrestling now is being featured in the television and QTV. I think my wrestling was being shown for 3 months, just to encourage that platform, because we have a lot of youths coming back home and we have a lot of youths that are not being catered for at all. These youths are not that educated. Some of them went to the Quranic school, so they have no further education and they dropped out, and they have no other platform other than cultural sport. So not just football, cultural sport. So I figured if these are the masses, let me create a broader brand or broader platform for them to, showcase their talent. Because wrestling all over the world is growing. In Senegal, in America, now they're going even to America to do these things. And we need to encourage that. And not only that, it's our culture. So I created that platform, and it's been going on for 3 years. Yeah, so I feel that, I've done that. I've done other charity work, it's all on our website. Like I said, I hate to go all that, but we do visit the hospital, we do the tanka thing. Every year we donate to an entity. It can be a school, it can be families, it can be anything. So we do a lot on the ground, and this is not funded, it's self-funded. Only 1 or 2 I get help with the Ministry of Youth to help out. They gave us some donation for the wrestling match. But all the youths that are there know that we initiate this, and they look forward to it. This is the only year that we didn't do anything because of the COVID-19. And it's hurting everybody because they were looking forward to getting cows and stuff like that. So out of all these matches, about 9 of them made it. Some became a businessman. One of them opened his own wrestling campaign, wrestling, how do you call it, camp. Another one became a businessman. Another one, because we give out cows too, became a butcher. So we had a lot of success stories creating those platforms. A guy came the other day in my office, so this makes me happy. Like, I cannot touch everybody, but the few that I can do for. And then you have, for example, one young lady that had a rice field, and she was growing rice, and she came for me to help. And I said, let's go, let me see, so we can do a greater study and do that bigger. And I came to realize that the farms are all drying, and the areas where you have sweet water, and what can be done so that we can have rice 3 times a year. These are all things that I did and tried to do with her. And through all this, I came to realize, and with them, talking with them, that if I'm in politics, I can help broaden these things. Because why can't we just grow rice during the rainy season? Why can't we have an all year around, growth of rice? And what can be done to get that? Proper piping system, irrigation system, to be able to have 3 times a year rice, which we can even start exporting as well, because we have a free trade with the US and stuff like that. These are natural, ethnically sourced products. So, like I said, I did that. Then I did the 3 years when Gambia didn't know whether it's going to be burnt or not burnt. I mediated that to stop that as a Gambian. I mean, nobody wanted to touch them, nobody wanted to do it. All the non-for-profit organizations, all these big organizations in the Gambia just sat back watching. People were scared. Tourism was cut off. We took it upon ourselves to invite them and to talk to them. So we spoke to them.
3 years Jotna movement, you mean?
3 years and 5 years. We called them in, we talked to them, listened to them, understand what the problem was, sensitized them, made a TV show where we invited both parties, 3 years and 5 years together, and they both sat down and we had a beautiful evening with them. You know, where they talked about, no, they're not violent, they want to do this, because you have to understand too, people sometimes don't understand demonstration and peaceful protests and stuff like that. So you have to like break it down to them what the two is and how, you know, there's a thin line between, you know, peace and war. You know, it takes a little to turn. Look at Sierra Leone when they had that little issue. It became a problem where they were chopping each other's arms. So we need to talk to them and show them, hey, you know, you can do this, but you can do it this way. Okay, but your wording is wrong. You're saying this, and this is what is happening. The whole country is scared. There are international warnings not to travel to Gambia, you know, because of possible threat. So we did all that. Then we created a conference. I did a big conference where we invited all the NGOs, we invited all government sectors pertaining to security. Unfortunately, none came. But we thank God, the 3 years came, the 5 years came. We told them to put their heart out there and talk about what their issues were. And they put their heart out, they talked about their issues. We were there, I think, from 11 till 7 in the evening. It was tedious. Meanwhile, I had no security, so I was really taking a risk. The only entity that came and represented was the Red Cross and Dr. Senghor, and I so applaud him for coming because he also did a show, like a video show of war, you know, war zones and what can happen between peace and conflict, you know, and all that. So that was very educative. He also talked about when the coup happened, what happened, how many bodies they were shoveling and all that. So nobody wants to hear that. So by the time all that came, you know, people listened and it kind of softened and dampened everybody a little bit. And then we had a card, which was like the peace deal, where we said, okay, the 3 years Jotna and 5 years Jotna, everybody will sign that peace deal. When they sign that peace deal, we'll take that and present that to the government to show that, listen, these guys are peaceful. They just want to be heard. So they did do that. We did take that card, present it to government. We went back and forth with government too, because that's another thing, back and forth. But eventually, they gave us a good platform. The DG of SIS gave us a good platform, and we all sat down, and then they said, yes, let's mediate. And that was the first mediation, which they came out and went to the Sing Corner and demonstrated peacefully. So I think that in itself alone, you know, it's a big thing, you know, and these are things that I do for country because I care. I could have sat down, locked my windows or travel and said, you know, but I felt, hey, I cannot, you know, everybody's scared, but why? They're just my brothers and sisters. They're men and women, they're young people. And even when we invited them to the office, at first the talk was a bit harsh. But I said, hey, you need to tone it down. You know, we are all brothers and sisters. Let us talk. And I thank God that they listened and it happened. You know, of course, the second time there was a little bit hassle, but the second time I didn't mediate that. That was involving now other entities and stuff. But, you know, I think overall, the country was peaceful again. You know, and I think that was big in itself, you know, to do that for country. So I did a lot of things. Like I said, I hate to always talk about it, but we have web pages. I put everything online. We have YouTube channels as well that people can go and see all these things. You know, sometimes talk is cheap when you see what we do.
Do you want to mention the name of your website?
Yes, the website is www.theafricare.org. Or you go to the YouTube channel, or on Facebook, the africareinitiative.org, or Good Deeds Day Gambia. We partner with Good Deeds Day Gambia and Facebook as well.
Okay.
Wow, interesting. Very interesting. Finally, I know we're running out of time. Give us an assessment of the current government.
Well, like I said in all my platforms, the current government, I see it still as a coalition government. because last time we checked, it's the collision that went in. You know, what happened after that, we all know the collision didn't happen. And the selected leader that they select is left there basically by himself. So that's how I see it, because if it's a collision, the collision will be there still.
Your assessment is he has been abandoned.
Well, that's what I feel. I feel that this is a collision. We all voted, or everybody voted, everybody wanted change. And what was the change? Was to, hey, elect somebody and put him there until the 3 years, and then we kind of go back to election and elect somebody, right?
Yeah.
It's a transition. But did that ever happen? So somehow they lost track of what they were doing, or maybe they didn't sign the paper or what they're supposed to sign properly, and it created a problem. So I still see it as the collision, regardless, because the sitting president right now, for example, just formed a party. The party didn't put him there.
No.
We have to face facts. The party didn't put him there. He formed the party whilst in there.
Okay.
So he didn't put himself there. It's the people put himself there through this collision. So I see it still as a collision government. Now, whether he's there alone or not, that's for us to talk about.
So in other words, if there is any failure or success, it can only be attributed to all the parties
everybody
involved.
Listen, if I'm in partnership with you, and we say me, you, and you are going to a battle, we arrive there, and then you see that the battle is tough, or we're not agreeing to each other, and then you all left. Did I go there alone?
But would you say they left or they were pushed out?
Are they? I don't know. Well, like I said, are they left or were they pushed out?
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to ask that question. Did they leave or were they pushed out?
Well, we can all answer that question.
You know, if it's a collision, it's a partnership. And there should have been an agreement, a solid agreement where all of them should have been working together. We thought after 3 years, whilst they were there, they should have been grooming somebody. They should have been grooming somebody for people to like that person to elect as a president, and all the other parties that were not in the coalition would have had an opportunity to run for that election after the 3 years. That is why they said it's a transition. So if you're transiting, you're not supposed to even implement programs or projects because you guys are transiting. So no projects or anything should have been implemented. Now, through that transition, now, you know, you set up all your administrative or whatever. Meanwhile, they get ready. What they should have done is get ready and select, each party maybe select a leader that they think or recommend so that it will go to election. And then all the other parties, don't forget that there are other parties that didn't join the coalition. These parties too would have had an opportunity to go for election after the 3 years. And then now we would have had a selected president by the people, not a coalition, by the people to now run the other 5 years.
Yeah, but you, just to be clear, you blame this failure on all of them.
All of them.
Not
Of course.
just the president in power.
That's it's all of them.
Yeah. So finally, I think we are exhausting this conversation now. I want to know, in case the parties have not accepted your call to make you be the leader, is there any party you would have a similar ideas to join in case that, because if it
comes down to forming
another coalition, is there anybody that you might want to, you know, join a coalition with?
Well, you know, when you say coalition, I think the first coalition failed, and I don't see myself wanting to join any coalition because I wouldn't want to be in another situation where I'm part of that mess. I rather continue with my team and still do for Gambia what I do best. If people support you and they help you, they send you money, or you have money and people support you with money, you can still use that money and develop the country regardless whether you're sitting as a president or not. That is what parties are for. That is what it means to run. This is why people are giving you the money. They're not giving you the money to be cooking benachin and stuff. They're giving you money to empower the people so they can vote for you. So if they vote for you and eventually you don't make it, you can still use that money to still do what you say you want to do for country without being in government. I don't know whether that makes sense to you.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I don't have any further questions. That was a very important conversation we had, and I know that I'm going to be blamed for changing the medium of conversation here.
It's okay. Yeah. It's all right.
But I hope that we have exhausted for now the things that need to be said, and we hope that you will come back again after the registration is done, so
definitely.
that we can delve deeper into
your
program.
Then we can delve deeper.
And what's your final message to Gambians watching you right now?
Well, our final message to Gambians is we need to come together. Like I always tell them, unity is first. You know, without unity, we cannot develop this country. We can talk about, I can sit here and promise you all the good things we want to do for Gambia, but if we don't come together collectively, it can never happen. And let us stop dwelling on the negative. Let us start focusing on the positive. And it's only positivity that can take us forward. Let us stay focused. We are too sidetracked. Every little thing we talk, we want to dwell on. Somebody used to say, if you allow birds to fly over your head, after some time they'll build a nest on it.
Yeah.
So let us not allow those birds to keep flying over our head. Let us keep it moving, and move the Gambia forward, and encourage all the young girls out there to make sure whatever they do with their lives, to do it in a positive way. The young people, avoid this social media. You want to be somebody, use social media wisely. Use it to advertise yourself, like as far as education, as far as business that you're doing. Use it for positive. Don't use it for the negative. And all this backlash or airing our dirty laundry out there is not telling well for the Gambia and its people, because these things go viral. It's internationally. The same way me and you are watching it sitting in America is the same way we are showing it other people that are non-Gambians, and they're seeing like, what a country. They're not going to say what, they say, what a country. And we're talking about, we want proper tourism, we want proper investors to come here. There are certain things that we need to stop doing as a nation and start focusing on building our nation.
Thank you very much, Marie. Thank you, Nyuma. To you watching, see you next week. Good night to you. Bye-bye.
Have you run out of cash power? Do you want to transfer funds to your family? Or do you want salary advance without coming to the bank? Your banking services have just been brought to you on your mobile phone. Download and install from your App Store or Google Play Trust Bank's mobile app. Simply search for TBL mobile app and follow the instructions. You can access the following services: funds transfer, cash power purchase, forex rates enquiries, mobile airtime top-up, mini statement, balance enquiry. TBL app is the only app that allows you to take salary advance and many more. You can also interact with your customers using our USSD code by dialing *533#. At Trust Bank, we bring innovation that is useful to you, our valued customer. With our mobile app and USSD, banking is at your fingertips. Trust Bank Limited, proudly Gambian.
Better and stronger as the sole ground operator at the Banjul International Airport. With an expansion in travel services, customers are assured of GIA's capacity to cater for all their travel needs, provided by professional, experienced, and ever-smiling staff. GIA's Hajj package and services, by far the best in the country, give the customers the opportunity for a memorable Hajj experience. For a more efficient cargo services, GIA means business as it launches its new multi-million-dollar ultra-modern cargo complex to revitalize and stimulate air transport. GIA, the pride of the Gambia.
ay warula naaj ay xam naa ne bu paree rek ma kontaan.
sama secret mooy ami tamaate jeeg balaa jonge day mun waañam ami tamaate soo ko defee si sa tooga da koy xonqal cuur jeeg bu koy jëfandikoo sa jëkkër du la musa mere.
nijaay
waaw
baala ma tey dama naa gis añ bi.
ay séeri xiif naa de.
waaye léegi ma pare topp suma lii bi maa ngi dem yegg kaay. waaw topp suma gannaaw.
loolu de laa bëgg a dégg.
Faaro company mi ñu indil bébé Mariam moo ñu indil Ami Tamaate.
Ese sa benn cin xonq na.
Ami Tamaate de moo si jaar.
Ami Tamaate.
waaw Ami Tamaate.
moo ko xonqal nii. cëm.
waaw
bis ni ki tey.
waaw
dee naa la Ami Tamaate.
kontaan naa.
doomi ndey Ami Tamaate bi nag léegi ku ko bëgg nag nooy def nag nga koy am bépp marché boo dugga bitik supermarket table yi bépp foo dugga si biir réew mi di nga am Ami Tamaate.
Salut Pro Beats.
cey kër gi nag xam ngeen ko di boutique buñ leen indil fii ci réew mi mu nekk fan ca poori Palmarima dama ne jëkkër ak jabar ànd ak seen doom ba dugg ca biir jënd ba baax waaye looy foog ne dafa seer déedéet kër gaa ngi nii kër gi moom lu baax rek la leen amal loo soxla rek am na ci biir kër gi néeg waañ yëpp am na ci biir kër gi cabinet yëpp am na ci kër gi waay kër gi daal boo duggee ca biir lu waral ree bi ree ji lu ko waral yomb gaa waral ree gi dafa yomb lool moo tax ngay ree kër gaa ngi nii dara seero fi Beko di brand boo xam ne indi lañ leen ko fii ci réewi Gambia kana ko indi kër gi waaye itamit pour dem ci office rek ñu kóot la ba nga ne nekk tay la ba nga ne nag office furniture dañu am design boo xam ne dañ la koy defal ba mu mit nag sa corporate image brand dama ne kër gi daal moo ëpp lépp kër gi daal moo am lépp kër gi daal lépp loo soxla moo lu waral ree ji yomb jee tax ngay ree du waxoon naa la ko fii dara seeru fi yaa ngi dem ba baay di nga dellu si waat kër gi di nga dellu si waat ci kër gi